Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining me today on Inspire to Achieve Global TV. And once again, we're in the executive suite. So, welcome to the executive suite for our Monday evening chats. So, it's Monday, beginning of a new week. How has your week started? Are you raring to go, full of beans, rushing ahead, preparing for the festive season? So, if you're like me, you're very busy this week trying to get everything tied up and put to bed before the Christmas break. And I'll be doing a lot of my own stuff between Christmas and the New Year. So all the client work will need to be tied up and put aside ready for the new year. So it's quite a busy week at this end. So what about yourself? And today, what I really wanted to talk about actually is how are you showing up? Because again, this is a time of year where we start to focus on the new year, the resolutions we want to make. If you're one of those people that actually make New Year's resolutions, I must admit that I'm not one for making resolutions, although I do have goals and targets that I want to achieve during the year. I do not specifically say, okay, this is my resolution. I'm cutting this out. I'm starting this. I stopped doing that quite a while ago. So I tend to just have goals and positions that I want to be in over the coming year and allowing some area of flexibility in that for me to do other things. So, for example, this year, a few new opportunities came along that I was able to embrace just because of the fact that I had some flexibility in the things that I wanted to achieve. So, actually, being here on this platform with you now is one of the areas in which I had some flexibility and was able to come on board and become part of the YYC family. So, and it's been quite an interesting journey. It's been a good learning curve. So that's what happens when you have that area of flexibility in your schedule and you're not so rigid and steadfast in that you're not open to new opportunities. So, as I said just now, how are you showing up? What is it that you're doing? How are you presenting yourself? And who is it that's going to be showing up next year? And many of us in our lives, we have varied personas because we may be somebody's child, we may be somebody's parent, somebody's partner, somebody's boss, somebody's employee. So, which personas are you living through? Again, but when I say personas, there's also titles. Hi, Nat. Thank you for joining. Lovely to see you online. So, it's also in the titles that we adopt because sometimes we lose ourselves in the titles and the woulda, shoulda, coulda. I should be this, I should be like that. In order to live up to this title, this is who I need to be. In order to live up to another title, this is who I need to be. So at work, you may have one persona. At home, you may have another persona. With your family, you could have a different persona. So there's all these different things of ways in which we show up. So again, when you look at yourself, how are you showing up? What is the common thread that goes through all of the different areas that you show up in? What is the thing that actually holds everything together? And I know for myself, it is in terms of my values. What are the core values that I hold dear? And these are the things that are my non-negotiables. So for yourself, what is that common thread for you? What is it that you hold on to? So and Nat, this is one of those spaces where it's very interactive. So it's not just about me sort of speaking and telling you everything that I know. It's a space where we come together to connect, where we can release some of our pressures, we can recharge our batteries, and we can feel energized so that we can go out and pursue our passions and our goals and our vision. So again, do like, comment, and share just to say, so we get a conversation going. Hi, Robert, thanks for joining. And Robert, I know you're a regular on the show and you always contribute. So, I was just sharing with Nat and whoever joins us on the replay that this is a space where it's an interactive space. So we have conversations. It's not just about me sharing my knowledge or me speaking at you. It's about us communicating and connecting together. So tonight, Robert, we're speaking about how you're showing up. So the question is, how are you showing up in the various arenas that you're in? We know, what are the personas that you adopt that suit particular titles that you may have? So I'll carry on with that in terms of, hi Mandy, thank you for joining. So in terms of how we're showing up and the different personas, how do they serve you? Because, if for example, in a work situation, you act a particular way, how has that served you in the workplace? Has it got you the results that you want? Or in business, if you're in business, how is the persona that you adopt in business actually serving you? Is it getting you the level of business that you want? Is it attracting the right kind of clients to you, the clients that you actually want to have? Or are you getting clients that aren't quite the fit for what you thought you'd be doing? So these are some things to consider, because it's sometimes how we show up that actually creates the people that are drawn to us. It creates the environment that we find ourselves staying in. And maybe we need to start looking at, well, is that really the persona or the way I wanted to project myself? And start doing that inner work, that internal work on ourselves that actually encourage us to look at who we are and to really project our true self rather than the persona. So who else has joined us? Hi, Adam. Thank you for joining. It's lovely to see everybody actually greeting everybody else. It's one of the lovely things about this space in terms of the global TV platform is that we start to have this community of people getting together, and we look forward to connecting on the different shows and sharing our wisdom, having some conversations. It's just brilliant. So, keep sharing and do, like, comment and share, interact, because it's only through our sharing that we actually help each other to grow and we grow ourselves. So again, Mandy's saying that internal work is ongoing for her. And of course, and you're right, because it should be ongoing for all of us, because we're never quite the finished product. It was the same thing, as a baby, you have a baby and they don't stay babies for long. Each day they change. And it's the same with us, because when we stop growing and we stop changing and we stop doing that inner work, we actually stagnate and actually start to regress and go backward. So the more of the inner work we can do, especially if we're looking to be in alignment with who we really are, the stronger we become, the more we are able to adapt and deal with certain situations and circumstances and realize our own strength, our own power, our unique gifts. So that's fabulous, Mandy, that you're continuously doing that inner work. And oh, brilliant. So Robert's saying that he's considerably better than he was last week. And again, it is one of those things, Robert, that we have our good days, we have our not so good days, we have our really awful days. But if we actually train ourselves how to deal with them and to recognize them and not beat ourselves up over it and do what we need for ourselves, then we find that, okay, yeah, we can take things in our stride. And yeah, there's days when, you want to keep the duvet over your head and you don't want to get up, you don't want to speak to anybody. And that's okay. The thing is that it's whether we stay in that space and how long we stay in that space, because it takes a lot of strength to actually ask for help, to reach out to somebody that you trust and cares about your well-being and has your best interests at heart, just to say that, what, today's not a good day. And I think the more we learn to do that, the better we will all be, because for some of us, it helps to teach us compassion. And then for those of us that feel that we're in a bad place and we need support, to have sometimes just knowing that you've got that support is all you need. You may not need the person to be there physically, but just having that knowledge that you've got a support network and you've got somebody you can reach out to, the world doesn't seem so lonely and it doesn't seem as such a dark place. So it's wonderful that you're feeling better, Robert, and you took what you needed for yourself to actually be able to come this week and say you're feeling considerably better. So I'm privileged to have you on the show with us today. Right, yeah. So again, Robert, whatever it was that was coming up for you that got you to that place, then it's really been mindful to look at, just look at what were you doing? What pressure were you putting yourself under to get you there? And use other techniques, other skills, so that you can see the signs and potentially intervene before you get to that stage again. Right. Okay, Adam. Well, again, yeah, and I think a lot of people tend to be struggling and suffering with life, and these things happen, and we can't run away from them. However, we can learn techniques that help us to be better, to feel better, to be able to cope and have our own coping mechanisms that enable us to just take one step at a time. And I think sometimes we put ourselves under more pressure than need be because we expect ourselves to be able to do everything. We expect to be able to cope. And we probably make assumptions about external things that then make us feel even worse. So, you've made your resolution, Adam, that you're going to get on top of it. And if you've got your techniques and mechanisms in place, that you know that you can rely on them to help you just take, each hour, each minute, each hour, each day at a time, then, that's a success for you. So, yeah, keep going. And you've got a support network around you, then that's brilliant. Okay, so get this easier, because although we're talking today about how you're the circumstances, how have they been serving you? And then from that space, how would you like you to be served? How would you like the persona that you're projecting, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, with friends, with family? How would you like it to serve you? Because even at the state where sometimes you're in your darkest moments, you do have a choice, and you do actually have more control than you probably give yourself credit for. So again, it's bearing in mind, what is it you want? What is it you would love to have in your life? What is it that that really energizes you and makes you feel good about who you are? Because I think sometimes we're so busy looking outside, we're busy taking on everything, that we forget about what we need deep down inside of ourselves, and to really just come from that space. And that could be a whole conversation that will take a whole day. So I'm not going to go into all of that right now. But how do we do it? And a telltale sign is how you do cope in stressful situations. Do you get overwhelmed? Do you stop and take a breath and just, are you able to put a bit of objectivity in there before the overwhelm sets in, to basically step back and think about what you want? What's your desired result? Not an end result, but what's your desired result? And really looking at that desired result, to look at then, what do you have in place, or what can you put in place to help you get that desired result? And when I talk about a desired result, it's normally coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of rescue. It's not coming from a place of escape. It's coming, that desired result, from that place of love. What is it? Because that's often what will get you through a stressful, speak English, what will get you through a stressful situation. And yeah, I'm sitting here talking to you. Of course, I have stressful situations to deal with, but my thing is very much about taking a breath and stopping, because when I do that, I can be a bit more objective than if I just get caught up in the situation and I'm just going with it, and thinking about how stressful it is, because I just get more and more and more and more of the same thing. So that's one tip that I've learned, and I often share it, and I've seen where it helps. It's helped my clients when I work with them in their businesses, and to take a step back, we take that breath, and we get more objective again. So there's lots of comments coming in. So let me see some of your comments. Right. Ooh. Okay. Okay, I'm just looking through. See okay, so Mandy's saying that we always have a choice, even if it appears to evade us when going through stress. Exactly, because when we're stressed, we don't actually think as objectively and as clearly as we think we're thinking. So, yes, I definitely agree with you on that, Mandy. And right, and then Nat, you're saying in stressful situations, you mentally shut down and push people away. And that's a natural protection instinct in terms of, self-protection, that fight or flight. And when we do that, what it does, we prolong the agony sometimes. And okay, you may need your thinking time and your thinking space, but we can prolong the agony because we stay in that space, as opposed to even just getting up and going out for a walk. Sometimes, just being out in nature, that fresh air, or whether it's raining or it's just been out in nature, that gives us a different perspective. Because if you stay in the same room, in the same position, and they've got the same energy and the same air around you, you can really just sort of feel like holding your head together. But when you then, open up the door and go out and just walk, and someone not even thinking about anything, again, you can see things from a different perspective. So then you can come back a bit more refreshed. So these are just sort of simple tips that are not expensive things to do, where, if in that blink of an eye, when the situation is so bad, sometimes we have to do the opposite of what we instinctively feel like doing, which is curling up and hiding from the world. You need to get yourself out in the fresh air and, just walk if need be, and do that. And even if after you've walked, you come back, have a nice shower, get changed, and it's just refreshing, a little bit more uplifting. And put music on. That's another good way. Put on music and dance. So let's see. Right. So, okay. So Robert, you're saying that what does that for you? Okay, enough money to pay the bills, plus a little extra. Almost everything else is in place. Okay, so again, you've got an objective, you've got skills and talents, and it's just how you tweak those skills and talents to generate that income that you're looking for. So, what are you putting in place in order to enable you to start generating the income? I know you had a few ideas, so it's really, Robert, now put implementation and staying with it and the determination to get your results. Okay, and then Mandy's saying, let love be the seat of motivation. Loving your interaction here. Okay, right. Okay, Robert, I'll hold you to doing that online lesson, and then you can share it in the success group as well. Brilliant. Okay. Right, so there's someone here from Inspired to Achieve TV, but I don't know who it is because they haven't said who they are. So let us know who you are, please. Yeah, I like that one, Robert. They are the mystery guests. Okay. Right. Hi, Susan. Thank you for joining. Right. Okay. Right. And again, Natalie, so you're saying about you're expecting the worst case scenario in any situation. Sometimes the thing that we fear is often worse in our imagination than it is in reality. So even with that, as long as it's something that's not going to kill you, then you can always find a solution and overcome, even if it takes time. So I know I'm just rushing through some of my responses on this because we can go quite deep with this topic. And I don't want to take everyone down there because we haven't got enough time to do it justice. So we're really just looking at a few pointers, a few tips that we can implement straight away. That turning the handle and going out the door for a walk and coming back, refreshing yourself, putting on some music. These are things that all of us can do, and we can uplift our own energy and start to feel a little bit better about ourselves. If you like to write, writing is good therapy. Whether it's about writing how you feel, whether it's about writing how you'd like to feel. So there's lots of different pointers that you can utilize in order to just, get out some of the stuff that's going on up here, get it out of your head so that you can feel a bit freer, a bit more relieved, because the more you put on yourself, the more dense you feel, where you want to feel elevated and enlightened. Okay, so let's see now. And again, so we've spoken about stressful situations and your persona and how you cope in stressful situations. But what are you like in your leisure time? Do you actually create leisure time for yourself? Do you create that space where you're doing something that you really enjoy, something that really, really energizes you and makes you feel good, makes you feel alive, it makes you feel connected? Because I think nowadays, in the fast pace, with all the things that we feel we have to do, sometimes we don't eke out particular leisure time around the things that we really love and enjoy, which then creates more of the stressful situations. So what are you doing in your leisure time? Are you creating that space just for you based on what you love and what you enjoy? Because that has quite a key impact. Because if you're constantly on the go, or constantly thinking about what you should be doing, what I must do, what I need to do, then where's the enjoyment? Where's that fun side? Where's the fun element for you? Okay. So, right, I can see there's a whole heap of conversation and communication going on here. Oh, right. Okay, I think this conversation is going where it's going. So, right. So Robert and Natalie are now in a session here where you're talking about what you do with them and what things mean for you. Right. So, okay. So Robert, you're saying that you really enjoy being present in the comments and you're loving this. Brilliant. And I know you like to share and motivate others. And what is really nice is that Mandy's here now giving some more pointers and techniques. So where are you? I just saw it come up. Okay. So you were saying that there we go. So take your right hand. Right. So I'm going to do it now. So you take your right hand and now you're doing thumb to finger this way or this one, because I've seen people do it different ways. And yes, because there is an anchor in there, isn't there, where people your focus changes with doing that. So there's a number, as you know, tonight we've come up with a number of techniques that people can use in order to actually release some of the stress, some of the stressful situations. Actually, Natalie, what I would like to ask you is that what if you were to think about the best possible outcome and that happened? What would that then tell you? What would that mean to you? And how would that serve you? Because you say that you always look for the worst possible scenario so that you don't get disappointment. What about looking for the best possible scenario and expecting it to happen and welcoming it to happen? Because sometimes we do create our own environment, we create our own results. So if we're constantly looking for the bad and the negative, what do you think you're going to find? Whereas if you're now looking for the good, and looking in good even in bad situations, if you look for the good in a bad situation, how would that make you feel? What would that do for you? So again, I think sometimes when we're in a certain space and we adopt a certain mindset, yes, it does serve us. But then I think sometimes there's a fear of adopting a different mindset, because what would that then mean? So, think on that. Okay, so I hear you on that in terms of, okay, you'd be happy in that, but eventually the demons will take over. Now, again, though, that end bit is going back into that other mindset, though, isn't it? So when you're talking about it, it's going into that other mindset, because it's that trained way of being in that, what the expectation is. And, you've probably sort of spent many years doing whatever you've needed to do in order to help your situation. And so I'm not going to try and jump in and say, oh yeah, you just need to do A, B, C, and D. But I think sometimes we can gradually just look at, slowly, just take one step at a time to look at, okay, what if today I was expecting something good to happen? And be open to seeing and experiencing that good. And then just taking a note of it when it does happen. And forget about what comes afterwards. It's just that looking for that one good thing. And then if each day, can you imagine if each day, all you did, you don't expect everything to be brilliant, but each day you just look for that one good thing. And just take notes of it. And I'm not even going to go any further than that, but it's an interesting exercise to follow by just looking at one good thing that can happen. It may be somebody smiles at you on the road. It may be somebody opens a door for you. But sometimes we can get so wrapped up in how awful things are, but we miss the little elements of good that occur every single day because we're not focused on that. We're so focused on the other side. We're focused on the opposite. So when we miss those little gems that are around us all the time. I'm a Pollyanna anyway. So sometimes for me, even just hearing the birds singing, it's an upliftment because it's like, wow, that's about life. Sometimes you see little children when they're misbehaving and they're running around and they're all excited with their naughty selves. It's humorous. You can laugh. And I actually had an experience yesterday where I doing some work, and a particular young lady made a comment to us in order to get us to sort of shape up. And as I was walking back from the station this evening, just before the broadcast, I remembered what she had said. And I'm walking down the road on my own, and all of a sudden I'm just walking down the road chuckling. So anyone that saw me would probably have assumed that I had my phone hidden somewhere and I was talking to somebody the way I was chuckling as I was walking down the road. But it was just the memory of that experience that, although it happened yesterday, I got enjoyment and pleasure out of it today. So there are little things that happen in our lives that if we miss them, we miss the opportunity to experience that joy. Whereas when we're tuned in to just seeing them and experiencing them, we have that much more joy and fun. And, if you're like me and you like fun, then you'll know that I always look for elements and areas to have fun. Even in some of the worst situations, sometimes I can have a laugh with somebody over a situation. And for me, that takes away a lot of the potential stress and the heaviness of a situation because I'm not sunk down in it, because it's not going to overtake me. And these are just sort of what I do on a daily basis. So if it helps and you try it, then it's a pleasure to be able to share that with you. Right, so let's see what comments are coming out. Okay, so Mandy, you're saying, where are you? Right, so you're saying maybe it's as simple as smiling, saying thank you for what's around you. Yes, and that list of blessings is endless. So refocusing does obviously lift our spirits. So brilliant. So we're on the same page there, which is good to see. And yes, again, and now Robert's saying healthy doses of gratitude heals many woes. Yeah, and it really does, because the more you show gratitude, the more you have to be grateful for. And it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming because that's where you're programmed. It's like the scenario where sometimes you go on a course and you'd be asked to, find all of the red objects in a room. So you spend a couple of minutes looking around the room for all of the red objects. Then when you're finished, the person asks you to tell them how many blue objects were in the room. But your focus was on the red objects. So you've ignored all the blue objects. It's the same thing in life. When we're so focused on what can go wrong, and things always go wrong for me, there's something bad always coming around the corner, that is what you're going to see. Even if that something bad was, followed by something brilliant, you would still be focusing on the something bad. And the something brilliant would be around you, it'd be going on, but you are not enjoying that because you're focused on that something bad. And we are conditioned like that as humans, that we just focus on certain things and not always the things that are to serve us the best. So let's Let's see. Right. Wow. This conversation is really getting good. Right. So with ooh, let me just see. Oh, has Pastor Roy joined us as well? Hi. Right. So okay. So Robbie, we're not going into politics tonight, so I'm not even going into that one. But I'm glad you didn't lose your temper. But I'm not going down that road tonight. So right. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, we're okay for time for now. So, oops. Right. Hi, MacDonald. Thank you for joining us. And Mandy, yeah, again, yes, you're right. The subconscious is dictating old patterns. And, that's who we are as people. And it's quite interesting that the conversation has gone down this road, because the initial question this evening was, how are you showing up? And we can now see with the shares and stuff how we show up. And sometimes it's when we have the conversation with people and discuss, our thinking, our expectations, and then that's reflected back to us. We start to see more how we show up. And if that is, as the question, I asked the question before, so this is almost like a recap now, because I asked the question, how are you showing up? And what was the common thread in all of the personas that you have in the different arenas? So whether it's your work or your business, whether it's with family or friends, what's that common thread in terms of all those personas that you adopt? And then the question was, how is, the way that you show up serving you? Now, we've just had a conversation here around expectations, always expecting the worst, expecting things not to go your way, going into a certain space, making New Year's resolutions to overcome depression. So again, when people are going through depression or have a lot of those moments where your energy is sapped, it overtakes a lot of the joy that you could have in your life. Whereas, the next question was, how would you like it to serve you? Now, again, Natalie, I asked you the question, what would it be like if you went into a situation expecting something good to come out of it, or looking for something good to come out of it, and having that expectation for that something good happening without you feeling that something bad had to follow? And again, the old conditioning was showing up with regards to you'd still be waiting, say, for the other shoe to drop. So sometimes we miss the good that's around us and the good that we have. And it's easier said than done to, flick that switch. But there's little practices of just taking things as they are without overthinking it. Because sometimes we can think ourselves into places that we don't want to be. And our minds are so creative. Our minds can conjure up anything we put our hearts to without it actually being there in the physical. We can go to all kinds of places in our minds, and we make them our reality. We make them so believable because we build it up and we build it up and we build it up and we build it up. But what about if we still used our minds, but we used our minds in the sense of building it up to what it is we'd really love to experience and what we'd love to have, and just going in that space? Because if we've got the power to build up all the things that pull us down and we don't like, do you not think that we've also got the power to build up all the things that we would love and enjoy? And, I'm going a bit too deep tonight, but I think this conversation took us there. And, if it resonates with you, then brilliant. If it doesn't resonate with you, take what you need to take out of tonight's conversation and do what works for you and what's going to help you. Because this is a space, as I mentioned earlier on, is where we come together to release the pressures, to reconnect with our vision and our passion, and then feel recharged so we can go out and make things happen. And, all of us in life have things that we have to deal with and situations we need to go through, but it's how we choose to deal with those situations, whether we choose to let those situations take full control over us, or whether we decide that, well, okay, I'm going through something here, but I either reach out to my support network that's going to help me deal with it, or I start to find little tools and mechanisms that work for me. So it may be going out for a walk, being around nature. It may be putting on some music and dancing. It may be singing at the top of our lungs. It may be cooking. It could be anything. It could be something that gives you joy, that makes you feel light in spirit and releases some of the things that will keep you, wrapped up in that ball with a duvet over your head. And, if tonight has helped in any way, to just give some pointers and tips that you can go out there and start to enjoy being you, the true you that has all these dreams and aspirations and has got a special gift to share with everybody. If tonight helps to do that, then I feel privileged that you've been on the show with me, or if you watch on the replay, because for my thing is that I love everybody to have something to feel good about themselves. And can you imagine if every day you have a reason to feel good about yourself? What would that mean? And I do know and accept that everybody has value in them. Even in your darkest moments, you've still got value in you. So that's one thing that's going to come tonight. And you know what? I'm inspired to actually do one of the cards. Oh, wow. I'm inspired to do one of the cards from the set of the cards. And the one that I've pulled out tonight is amazing. It's actually thought. I don't know if you could see that. Wow, I'm telling you, we're in tune tonight. So this card, what it says is, your thoughts are the most powerful tool that you have. They can excel you to great heights, and they can take you down to deep despair. Feeding your mind is fundamental to your existence. However, it matters greatly what you feed it with. Focus your thoughts according to what you want in your life and start living your dreams. Now, if this doesn't sum up the conversation we've been having this evening, I don't know what does. So I think this is going to be a brilliant note to end on, because I really appreciate every one of you that's taken the time out to be on here tonight, what you've shared, and for having, for trusting this space to share, what you're dealing with, how you're coping, what you'd like to have. Oops, and my machine's decided to go and do something else, so I didn't see you for a minute. So just being able to be in this space and doing that, then, I acknowledge you and I thank you for sharing this space. And I hope that tonight you've really got something useful out of the call, because I've enjoyed being with you. You've actually enriched me by being on the call. So do continue to like, comment and share. I will get round to responding to your comments. And I just say that you've got value in you. You're awesome. And you do have choice and you have control over you. It's how you decide to deal with it is up to you. But find your support network. Do what you love. And stay awesome. And I look forward to connecting with you again. And we're due to be together again on Friday evening at 8 p.m, right back here in the Executive Suite. And I just say, have a wonderful week. This is the last week we're building up. If you celebrate Christmas before Christmas, a lot of companies are winding down this week. And, don't get stressed with the season. Take it in your stride and remember the purpose of the season. And in being that spirit of what the season really means, and be gentle with yourself. So thank you, and have a fabulous rest of the evening and a wonderful week. Take care and bye for now.